Welcome to this channel. In this video, we are going to look at a daily challenge problem, problem 1160. Find words that can be formed by characters. Our purpose in this video is to demonstrate a simple use of a data structure, that is dictionary, also known as hash map. So here we are given an array of strings called words and a string called characters. Here a string is good if it can be formed by characters from the given characters string. So each character can only be used once. So this is actually a very important requirement. Basically, it means that if a string is good, it means the occurrence or frequency of a character in the string is less than or equal to the corresponding frequency in the CHARS variables, right? So here we want to return the sum of lengths of all good strings in Word. So here are two examples. So let's look at the only example one. So here the output is 6. So if you look at the word cat, so it contains CAT, right, in cars, so it's okay. And the BT is not. The reason is that there's no B in characters. And hat is also okay because we have HAT. So, but tree is not good because R is not in cars. So here the valid ones are cat and hat. So their length sum is 6. That's the return. And the constraints for this problem are the following. First, the length of this words list is bounded above by 1000. So 1000 is not a very large number. So if you think of a square, so 1000 is bounded by 1 million. So 10 to the power 6, roughly Python can treat it, especially for the setting of leetcode. So here each word have length is bounded in between 1 and 100. Similarly for the character string. So words I and character consists of lowercase English letters. So with that said, we are ready to do the coding directly. Because the logic here is very simple. We need to check if a word is good. If it's good, we are going to increment its length in the final return. Great. So, but here our goal is to use the dictionary, right? So first, I'm going to give a quick implementation using the vanilla dictionary in Python, and then we use the counter object. So first, we want to initialize a result variable. So this one is a counting variable, right? So we are going to return its final state. So this is just for initialization. Next, I'm going to build a dictionary. Let's call it dcards. So this is a dictionary. So what we are going to do, let's use a for loop to specify for character in cards, right? So if character not in the cards, so we're going to set the cards to be the cards this character have a frequency 1. Otherwise, so it means that C is a valid key in this dictionary. So we're going to increment its counting by 1. So now you can print out this dictionary just for a check, right? So for example 1, A appears twice, T appears once, and C appears once, H appears once. Basically tells us that this dictionary is right. We actually need to do similar thing for each word, but we do this character, then we just need to compare with the dictionaries corresponding to each word in the word list. So now let's do this. So for word in words, right? So we do similar thing, but if you like, you can write a function to do this. But let's do it in a brute force way. So here we get the word. So let's use it as dictionary, right? Then for character in this word, so if character not in the word, so we're going to set the word. This character has a frequency 1. Otherwise, so we're going to the word C increments by 1, right? So once we done this, so we have a valid dictionary for this word. Then we compare with this D characters, right? We want the keys, the characters have a frequency no greater than the corresponding frequency in the D characters, right? So let's check that. So I'm going to use a flag. So here flag is true. We assume W is a valid one. If not, we're going to ignore that, right? So now for key and frequency, right? In the word items, right? So the items is a dictionary method. Then we want to check if this frequency, is less than or equal to the corresponding frequency in D has, but we do not know a priori if this key is inside D character. So we are going to use a get method to get the key, and then if it's not, we're going to set it to be 0. So here actually we want to use the other side. If the frequency is larger, it means that so this word is not a valid word or good word. So we're going to send flag to be false, right? And then we just break. So otherwise, so here we can actually just use length function to count the length of this word W, or we can use a temporary variable, right? Temp equals 0. Otherwise, what we want to do is increment the temp by the frequency. We know that the frequency sum will be the length of this word, right? So afterwards, so if flag is still true, it means W is a valid word. So we are going to increment the result by this temp variable. So afterwards, so we know we just need to return the result state. So this is the one version of solution to this problem. So now let's do a test. Yeah, it passes one example. Now let's look at generic case. Yeah, it passes all the cases. So here, this implementation is very verbose. But here, the purpose to write in this format is for practice only. So now let's use another object. So it's called I'm going to change this one. Let's see, to be version v1. This is the method. So now what I want to do, so here I want to call cars counter, right? So we use a counter variable. So this is the collections, let's see, counter. So collections is a module in Python, right? There are some containers in this, for example, counter. So counter is a special dictionary, right? It counts unique elements and their frequencies. So if you call this and using this initialization method, you're going to get the unique characters in cars and its frequency. So this will be our reference. So now what we want to do is let's set a result variable, let's see, and then for word in words, then we're going to have a word counter, right? Let's count the corresponding unique elements, unique characters, and their frequencies. And then we'll hope that this corresponding frequencies is no larger than the frequency in the characters counter, right? So still, we can use a flag to do this. But this is just a choice. So essentially, this problem can be solved in one line, right? So here, let's see, for key and value of frequency in W counter items, right? Then we want to check if f is strictly larger than characters counter. Let's see, let's use get method, this key, otherwise 0. If this is the case, we're going to set flag to be false. And then otherwise, so here we can directly break, right? Otherwise, we don't care. So maybe you can call the length of this W and just once, but still not time consuming very much. So see, you can do if flag. So we can see result increment by the length of the word. So notice that in this first implementation, we know that the frequency sum will be the word length. So we didn't use the length method specifically, right? So this will be the full logic. Now we can do the return for this result. So let's do a check. It passes one example. Now let's look at generic case. Yeah, it passes all the cases. So this let's regard it as version v2. And here I also want to write another solution, which might be not that common, but you know, it might be interesting for some people, because it's from collections import counter, say, as count. So here I just use alias to make it shorter, right? Then I want to return the sum of. So first I want that all the words, all the unique characters in word have a smaller frequency than those in characters. So what we want to do is something like this. Not so count word minus count characters. So this basically means that if the corresponding frequencies in W is less than those in characters, we are going to result in a empty counter, right? So here I'm also going to use a add the length. So if this is 0, then we do add. It's logical add. You're going to get the length of this one. So here for W in words, right? So essentially you do one import. So use this counter object, and then you do this line. So here is a comprehension, right? So let's test this case. Yeah, it passes one example, right? So now let's look at the generic case. Yeah, it passes all the cases, but a little bit slow. So you know, here this way of writing, I guess, is not very typical in Python, but you know, it's but it takes some advantage of this add operation. So that's basically about it for this specific daily challenge problem. So here we explained using this simple problem how to use dictionary or hash map. So here let me point out several things. So typical methods like check the membership if a key is in a dictionary like this, right? In W or not, right? Another one is that the items method for dictionary, and you are going to get a list of tuples for key value pairs. So it's another one. And also we use get method. So get method basically checks a key if the key is inside the dictionary, and if it is, we're going to get the corresponding values. Otherwise, we can set a default value. So notice that in this video we used counter method because it's very suitable for this problem. So if you like here, if you want to shrink this if-else block, you can use default dictionary. So you can use collections default dictionary, right? So you can use integer as a default, or you can do this collections default dict. So you can use a lambda, you map everything to be 0, right? Essentially the same thing, but here we use int, it's more convenient. Then if you initialize this d characters like this, you don't need this if else. You just need to do d character c get. Let me maybe write one just to make it clear. So here let me copy this one. Right, so I'm going to change this one to be version v3, right? And then characters. So here let's use this collections default dict. So I'm going to use int, right? So for this one, I'm going to set dcas character is incremented by 1, right? So here for DW, let's do this. Same. Collections, default dictionary, int. So I'm going to change this one to be here, right? And then let's keep this unchanged. Let's do a test. Yeah, it passes, right? So now let's look at generic case. Yeah, similarly, you can use lambda, right? Lambda to map everything to be 0 first. Lambda map everything to be 0. Let's do a test. Yeah, it passes, right? It will pass all the generic cases. Yeah, I guess there's a lot of interesting small details for this dictionary method in Python. Actually, it's good to know, and sometimes it can bring you some convenience. So with that said, I guess that's about it for this video. Thank you.